How's it going, Sat? Got a few for you. You have your scripted first 10 plays of the game. Do those get called no matter what the field placement is? Does down and distance come into effect about when you start calling those?
No.
And then the first play of the A&M game, I think the play actually got blown up. But was that a scripted play, or was that just for that specific?
It was in our red zone. So, I mean, we knew when we got inside the 5, all 3 of those plays we were going to go, or the first 2 we were going to call as fast as we could. It didn't work. And then the third down call, we were going to try to isolate Stogner, and we just didn't connect.
Said it seemed like Saturday was Spencer's best day, I guess, of the season, pushing the ball down the field and making some throws downfield. Just how have you seen him progress in that? Where do you feel like this vertical passing attack is about the halfway point?
I think it's improving. I think we had a good week of practice, throwing those same throws. I mean, he threw the same throws every single day of practice last week. I think anytime we can get those designed and get those repped every day is going to help both the receiver and the quarterback. But it's progressing in a manner that, I'm satisfied with. I think that's going to continue to get better each week.
Sat with Spencer, I know maybe his numbers haven't been quite where you guys want them to be, but as far as what he's actually doing and how he's playing, it seems like he's maybe playing a little bit better than his numbers or stats might indicate. I guess, what have you guys kind of seen from him? And I guess, how do you feel like he's kind of progressed, at least from, week 1 to now, week 8, I guess?
Very happy with where he's progressing. And the good thing is he's got even, a lot more to go, and that's a good thing. Like I talked about before, he grinds every single week, but I think he's from week 1 to where he is now, just the plays, understanding the plays, understanding, it's one thing to have timing in practice and in the summer, and then to get out in game speed with the receivers and the tight ends and the running backs. I think all that stuff's helping him just to play faster, and I think just his comfort with everything, the stadium, the uniform, the team, the plays, everything that, goes along with being an SEC quarterback. I think that, he just keeps getting more and more in rhythm. And, he's had another good week of practice this week. Today was one of his best days since he's been here. So looking forward to seeing where this thing goes this week.
Hey, Marcus, hope you're doing well. We heard from Shane on Saturday that he had a conversation with you at halftime, kind of telling you to get the ball to the best players more. Is that a weekly thing, or kind of how did that go exactly this week at halftime of the A&M game?
We talk all the time at halftime, and it was just one of those things like, hey, just don't worry about the plays, just get the ball to the players, and they'll make it right. That's what we tried to do.
CBS and Stog were in here yesterday talking about wanting to improve on third down, and Christian was talking about how a couple of those third down plays he needed to just hit the hole instead of trying to hit the home run. Just in general on third down, what are your impressions of how things have gone across the board?
Well, we were 8 of 16 last week against a really, really good defense. The crazy thing is we're more successful on 6 to 8 than we are on 1 to 2. So, the challenge right now is just, how can we be better in short yardage? That goes back from the Kentucky game to last week. And CBS is being polite. There was a couple where our guys up front have got to hang on double teams, and the guys can't show color and make him have to, make certain cuts. So he was a good teammate saying those things, but we just have to keep, designing and formatting more, better angles for our guys, and we'd have to go out there and execute. But I think overall on third down, I think we're somewhere around 42% or something. We've gotten better each week. We started off really slow, and I think if you just look at the last 4 games, I think that we've improved drastically on third down. But short yardage, we have to improve.
Hey, Coach, so continuing that conversation on third down, have you tried to maybe impart a message to the players over the last couple of weeks about maybe trying to get better on first and second down so that you don't have to go for it on third down as often?
You should be a coach. That's the first thing that you talk about. How do you become better on third down? You win on first and second down. And if you can stay on schedule and, be second and 6 and then third and 2 and then get it on third down, then you're winning. So you hit the nail on the head right there. You've got to be better on first and second down. And how do you do that? You run the football and you get on schedule. And we, during the middle of the game last week, we didn't do that. So something we need to really work on. Thanks.
Hey, Sat, over here. We saw Marshawn really kind of blew up in the second half and the run game as well against A&M. What was kind of the biggest adjustment that you guys made to kind of have that, go so crazy in the second half compared to the first?
It's crazy. It was the same plays. It was literally the same exact plays that we were running in the first half. It's just sometimes you got to, we start out 17-0 and everything's, you don't want them to think this, but they didn't relax, but you hope they don't relax. And then you go out there and everything's not running smoothly. Then you start pressing. Then you get in at halftime, you calm down, you develop a plan, just reiterate all the finer points and techniques and skills that are going to be needed to execute the plays, and you go call the plays again. And they were more relaxed. I think we played with better tempo in the second half, utilized some tempo, which got us going in the second half.
I don't think you or Shane were particularly happy early on in the season with perimeter blocking, and that was causing issues in the run game overall. Seems like those guys are doing a little bit better. What was the process of getting those guys to improve on their perimeter blocking, and how much has that helped the success of the run game the last few weeks?
A very huge part of what we're doing in the run game on two different ways of they're blocking on the perimeter, blocking safeties, which is allowing Marshawn to get out and extend some of those runs, and then they're blocking on the perimeter when we kick the ball out, when we get a numbers advantage. So, and they're doing it with great technique. I'm not going to say what I should say. They're doing it with great technique. I don't want to jinx them, but they're doing it with great technique and great effort, and they've got great angles. But if they continue to do that at a certain rate, I think we'll have better success moving forward. But really proud of where they are.
Sat, Mizzou's putting up some big defensive numbers so far. As you've seen them, what are they doing? Is it players or personnel or the scheme that they're running?
I think it's the players, and they have a really, really sound yet exotic scheme. Third down, you get up in the upper tier of third down, meaning from 6 to 10, you're getting a lot of stuff. And they got some guys that played a lot of football. They were very athletic, got really good length, very active up front in the D-line. Secondary guys, they got a couple of young guys. They got 2 older guys. They got a safety that flies around, a couple corners that can play man coverage. They got a couple personnel groupings where they got 7 DBs out there at one time. So they're very, very good on third down. And, like you said, we have to be really good on first and second down to stay out of those situations, because if we are in a lot of those situations, it's going to be a real tough night. So, we have a huge emphasis on trying to stay on schedule because of a very good defense we're getting ready to play.
You and Missouri both, this offense in Missouri's use a lot of motion. I guess when you guys have motion within a formation or within a play, how much of it's trying to exploit a mismatch or getting a player in a position to be better, or how much of it's just eye candy for a defense to try to get eyes out of gaps?
Most of the time, it's a different thing. You're trying to get a player in a certain position. You're trying to get a player in a certain spot on the field to get leverage on a DB or a linebacker, or you're simply just trying to gather information about what type of coverage you're getting. Is it man or is it zone? Is it single high? Is it too high? So there's a bunch of different reasons for motioning. Hopefully we're not doing it in vain for nothing. There's usually a reason for it.
Marcus, this past week, it seemed like this was kind of the most we've seen out of Jaheim, or at least his most involvement, at least in terms of actually catching the ball and making some plays here and there. I guess, what did you guys kind of see from him? And I guess, was that just a product of kind of what the matchup dictated? I guess, what did you guys kind of see in terms of getting him a little more involved this week?
Yeah, and I'll put this out there. To me, Jaheim is one of the most talented players in football that I've ever been around in my life. And if it was up to me, I'd find a way to get him the ball 1,000 times. But unless you just hand the ball, sometimes people can dictate and take that away. And, you have to have timing, spacing, all that good stuff. And I think he's worked very hard, like I've mentioned previously, started in that Georgia game, of just being a complete tight end football player receiver. And, his skill set is you can't, he's born with that. But what he's doing without the ball right now is really, really, really good. And it's going to be putting him in situations where he can get the ball. Not that we were looking for the easy way out, but with a little bit more ease, and less loopholes and less distractions or less deterrence that we had to go through to try to get him the ball. So he had another good week of practice last week and then this week. And shoot, I hope he gets the ball 20 times. That means we're doing pretty good.
Just quick follow-up to that. I guess, how much of the sort of Jaheim's, maybe, I guess for lack of a better term, like lack of touches the few weeks before, that has been just a product of what the defense is giving him and putting guys on him, maybe shading him? I guess, is that just kind of, is he seeing just maybe some tougher matchups? It's been harder to get him the ball. Is that kind of what you guys have seen?
That, and just the fact that he's got to go put things on tape where he's not just going in and playing on offense and the ball's going to him. I mean, that's not real hard for a defense to figure out. So I think the last couple of weeks he's put on tape that he's willing to go in there and do other things. There's been multiple times when balls have been designed to go to him, and they just haven't gotten there. And so, I think as long he's just going to start playing football. It's not going to be let's get Jaheim touches, because that usually doesn't work out well. If he gets it, that's great, but it doesn't 100% go to him. So the more he can just be everywhere, all over the field, and if the ball gets to him, it does, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. It's no big deal. I think more touches will come his way. Hopefully that made sense. In my brain, I got him playing everywhere there, and he may get 5 catches this over here, unexpectedly, plus the 4 or 5 we're trying to get to him. So I think that his touches will grow as his responsibilities grow.
With Nate Atkins and what y'all are able to do with him as a run blocker, how much does that add to what you guys can do, just simply running the ball and having a guy who's a lead blocker, for lack of a better phrase?
Elite blocker, elite football mind, understands the game, understands the time and spacing that it takes to do what we ask him to do with the motions and things. It allows us to be very multiple in the run game, and that's a guy I wish I could get the ball to as well. I mean, people haven't even seen it. He's got elite hands and runs good routes, so he's not just a fullback. He can do a lot of different things, and he's willing to do whatever. He's willing to. It's one of those kids. He's going to do whatever it takes for the team to be successful.
We've seen you call that reverse twice in a big spot 2 weeks in a row now to Jalen Brooks. What is it about that play that you think is so effective?
I think it's just a good change up. I mean, it's getting a guy with speed and space, misdirection. It's a reverse. It's not the exact same one. It looks a little different than the one we ran at Kentucky, but I think it's just the timing of it and where we are on the field. It just kind of gives us a spark right there. Allows us to get a jump, either score a touchdown or get a jump and get low into the red zone.
Said it seems like Ja'Kai has played some on that left side of the line, and Trey Jones, when healthy, has been out there too. How would you evaluate those two guys and those, I guess, competitions going on at left guard and left tackle right now?
I think that Trey and Ja'Kai and Vershawn, all those guys are playing well, and they're all interchangeable, really. Like, other than Trey, like Ja'Kai can play left tackle, he can play left guard, he can play right guard. Vershawn can play left tackle, he can play right guard, left guard. Trey's a guard, specifically left guard. I think that at the first year we talked about we need to find 7 to 8 guys that can fit those roles and allow us to move guys around to give us the best line and the best combination at any given point in time. They're all competing at the right level, and they're all doing good things. We just think that they all have earned a right to get out there and play. And, like even Jalen last game didn't get snaps on offense. Our plan was to try to get him in certain spots, but then, good old Satterfield, we went 3 and out about 3 straight times, and we couldn't ever get a rhythm of the game to get him in there. And so, he's come back and practiced really hard, and I look forward to watching him play this week. But they're all going to always have roles in the game and certain spots and times to get them in there to give us success and to keep us fresh. Awesome. Thank you, guys.